So today we are going to cover the OOPS, and OOPS consists of how many topics? We have already covered this earlier as well, that a pi is a mnemonic to remember the concept of OOPS, right? A for abstraction, P for polymorphism, I for inheritance, E for encapsulation. Cool. These are the four concepts that we need to, that is applicable on all of the OOPS languages, right? So in the polymorphism, there are two types of polymorphism: runtime polymorphism and compile time polymorphism, right? We will see in the later part. In polymorphism, we have two types of polymorphism. One is runtime polymorphism, and this is the most important one, runtime. Second is compile time, which is also known as overloading, and this is known as overriding. I'm assuming everyone is aware of these things, right? So the compile time polymorphism we have already covered, right? Overloading we have already covered. So we are left with the runtime polymorphism, which is most important thing in the entire OOPS language. And for runtime polymorphism, we require inheritance. Without inheritance, we cannot use runtime polymorphism. So the sequence of this would be abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and then polymorphism. Cool. This is how we are going to cover each one of the topic. So what is abstraction? Anyone? Am I audible?
Hiding data.
All right, hiding data. Okay. And anyone else? Anything? Except Seema. Okay. What is encapsulation? All right, no worries. See, in the one liner, it's not the hiding data, it's hiding implementation hiding. This is implementation hiding, and this is data hiding. All right, we will see in a while what it is. But okay, so we want to hide the implementation, right? Let's see first what exactly is abstraction, and then when see what exactly how we achieve this while we write the code, right? So abstraction is, if you simply go by the definition, let me open the notes as well in the notes. All right. Okay, before that we need to go through some little bit topics. I just started directly. So see, there are multiple languages, right? This is the Smalltalk and Simula, it's written over here, but there were a lot of languages that we have already covered in the first session, right? We have covered everything. So Smalltalk and Simula were earlier, was introduced earlier than the Java. And okay, just give me 1 minute. All right, no issues. We'll see later on. Sorry. So in the object-oriented programming, every object, whenever we take an object, every class that we make, it's majorly treated as a object, right? And whenever we take an object, it will be replicable to the real life objects. For example, the student, right? A student is a real life student, right? And then it will have the states. State means, in the OOPS language, states means the properties that it has. And what's the student properties is? Okay. Let's, what a student property can be. A student will have its name, right? Will have blood type, will have a name, a roll number, right? these things will be the properties of a student, and the behavior, what he will do, what he can do. Student can take test, right? So it will be its behavior that it can do, right? So the state is properties which is variables, right? So over here you can see state, well defined condition of an item, instance, variable, fields or properties, right? These everything are same. Then the other thing is behaviors. Behaviors is what it can inflict to the other objects or the world. So it would be the methods. Cool. So state and behavior is the terminology for methods and variables in the OOPS concepts or OOPS terminologies. So identification is the hash code. We will come over here when we are going to complete the collections. Before that, we are not going to dive into that. It's just a unique identification number. Like we have Aadhaar card, or we have some multiple keys which can be work as a primary key. But in computer science, we usually go with the hash codes of every object, because the collision is less if one is not aware of the hash code or how we get it. So there is no issue. We'll cover it in the later sections in the second half of the course. All right, and now we'll take an example that there is a car, right? A car, what would be the properties of a car or the states of the car? It will have a gear, it will have a color, all right? It will have what else? It will have a engine, right? Am I audible?
Yeah.
All right, so these are the things that a car can have, and the behavior would be a car will move, right, from point A to point B. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing is, this is usually a type of exercise, and this is for the freshers, not for the experienced people. Over here, we all have the experienced people over here, right? So these are the proper. This is a proper exercise which is usually directed towards the freshers or the people who are in the college, so that they will be able to write code and see how the classes is constructed. But I don't think we require it over here. So let's directly move to the concepts, right? So we are not going to start with the inheritance. We will start with the abstraction, right? Okay, over here there is something different. Let's see. All right, so over here it's not mentioned correctly. We are working with the abstract methods and definition. See, what usually happens if I want something to be hidden, right? Its definition says that the process of highlighting the set of services and hiding the internal implementation is abstraction, right? In the bank ATM screens, the internal implementation is hidden, right, and the services is registered, right? So the example can be this, but what is exactly abstraction, right? Abstraction means that when we have a remote car, not remote car, when we have a remote of an AC, they just let us know, right? The press on button and the AC will on, and the room will get, the temperature will goes down, right? And if I again press the off button, then it will stop sending the cool air, right? But the internal implementations of thermodynamics and all the electrical switching, wiring, how which gas is there, right? How it's taking the heat and out of the room, how it's creating the cool effect, right? I don't have to know about the internals, right? When you go and buy the AC, no one asked you to read about the thermodynamics, right? Same things when you buy a car. You will just be aware that okay, if you just insert the key and rotate it clockwise, the engine will start, right? No one let you know that okay, which spark plug is there, right, and how it's working. Is it electrically charged, or it is they are, I mean, rubbing two metals to generate the spark, or it's electrical, or how it's working, right? No one asks you to know about the internal combustion engines, right? How many cylinders it has. Nothing is told to you, right? You just told how much you need to be aware, right, to use the particular product. You need to be aware how to use the remote. You need to be aware how to change the gears and put the acceleration, clutch and brakes, right? So what they have done, they have exposed or highlight the set of services, right, and hide it the internal implementation, right? So this is an example of the real life world, right? But how we can achieve it in our daily lives? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the thing is, this is the terminology, right, that we know. So we can give the example of the ATM screen. If you take an example of ATM also, see, when we go there and we want to take money transfer or just take out the money, right? Then happen? Internally, it will call the services, right? Internally, it will connect it to the server, and then server will make another server call. Then the data will come back and you will be authenticated. So the authentication will be done. Which server, which language it's using behind the scenes, which design patterns they are using, which nothing is aware, right? You are not aware of anything. Which cloud services they are using, AWS, GCP, Azure, you are not aware of anything, right? A user need not to be aware of those things. User need to be aware of the services that the ATM machine provides: money transfer, withdrawal, right? OTP generation, the pin generation. Those things, they just made sure that it is visible to you. So these are the real life examples, right? How we achieve the abstraction in the real life. I mean, in the coding part. Everyone is experienced, right? And this is not regarding the Java. If you are all beginners in the Java, it's completely all right. But what about the course part? How we achieve this? You all have been doing this thing, right? Everyone. All right. By using the methods, right? The business logic, there is nothing else, right? In the Java, you have to do it with the method only, right? So for example, so okay, so it will be a simple, right? Email helper. You must have seen this kind of stuff on your production environment also, right? Public void send email, right? And then subject, you will have some string subject, then string body, and then list of a string of email IDs, right? And then over here we can just print sending email to, and then email IDs, and then with subject, and then subject, right? So if I'm using my code, this is the code that I am writing, right? This is the code that I am writing. So what eventually happens, I just have to create the subject, right? String subject abstraction concept, cool. String body, empty mail body, and then list. I mean, just don't care what we are doing here. I'm just creating a list right now. Then email IDs equals to, and over here I can send, okay, gmail.com, and then you can know that the right gmail.com. And then I just have to use the email helper, right? Okay, the method is not static, right? I need to see all the method and utility, all the methods in your helper and utility classes needs to be static, right? Because we no one have to, because it's helper, so it will be used mostly. So every method over there should be used directly. So over here I will just pass the subject, the body, and the email IDs, right? Now right now we know that the email helper is not doing anything, just printing the mail, printing this thing, right? But the thing is, in the real life scenario, you will have a email helper, right? And internally the email helper must be doing something. It must be doing something behind the hoods and sending the mail. Let me open a project. I have a project already. Seema, with you, I think with you, we have covered, right? Sending of a mail. Mm, 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 Mail service. This is mail service. Cool. So this would be a Spring Boot project, right? Okay, I've added a lot of stuff over here. Okay. Why it's here? Not required. I guess I have used it for some other task. Great, no worries. So see, this email service will send the mail to someone, right? And mail service application. Okay, Fab shows India. Okay, from where I'm sending it. Okay. Asima, are you there? Introduction. All right, she's okay. She's not here. Cool. Okay, let me just stop the recording for a while. Okay, tell me your email ID. Hello.
It's Vinod KG 119. I will type in the text.
Vinod KG 119.
@gmail.com.
Okay, is it correct?
Yes, it is correct.
All right. Just check if you get the mail. Okay, when it's done, right? It's trying to send right now. Okay, email sent. Okay, you can let us know in a while, right? If you receive the mail.
I got the mail.
You got the mail.
Yes, dummy
All,
body.
all right. Can you show it to everyone by sharing your screen?
Oh, yes.
All right. Everyone visible, right? Hello, I'm audible.
Yeah.
You can stop your screen share, right? Thank you, Vinod.
Okay.
See. Okay, this we have done in the Spring Boot course, but the thing is, we don't have to check how the Spring works, right, internally, or how it's sending the mail. The only thing that I need to know that the email service, right, the email service I'm using, right, and send email. So this method, right now we are able to see, right, that this method I have created on my own, and then we are sending the mail here using this. But the thing is, this method, if someone else need to use the same method, right, they can use this, right, in their own class, right? If, for example, if I want to create some random section, right, or successful booking mail, right, mail helper, right? Cool. So if I need to write some code, public void send confirmation mail, you get the confirmation mail, right, when you buy something, right? Then you can just send, you can use the email service, new email service, and that's it. And email service, and then email service dot send email, right? And then you can make sure that you get all the data, right? String, subject and all, subject and string, body and list of a string and email IDs, right? So you don't have to know what internally has been used, right? You can just pass these things over here, body and email IDs, right? Okay, if not, it don't take list. Okay, string, body, subject, body 2. Okay, it take 2 as string as well, right? String, so 2 subject and body, right? If you are a developer and you need to make sure that you are sending a mail, it's on you just to design the body, how you want to send the body, and to whom you need to send, and what needs to be the subject, right? And the next thing, sending of mail has been hidden to you, right? Because I'm saying it's hidden to you, but you can go inside and check how we are sending in the code. but the thing is if this email method is not in this class, and you have been asked to hit a REST API call to send the mail, like AWS provides support for sending mail, right? So AWS provide you a REST end, right? On that REST end, you will pass these three data, right? And the AWS internally will send the mail. So you don't know how, which services, which language, and whatever the AWS using to send the mail, right? So that's how, by using the method, we can create the abstraction, right? Is it clear? Abstraction. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I will edit the part where I have exposed my credentials to send the mail. All right. No one of you is recording, right? On your system. I'm audible.
And
Yes,
no, we
no,
don't.
no, no,
All right. Cool.
not recording.
All right. Cool. Because because if you have the credentials, then you can send the mail using the other person's email ID as well. No issues. What will we achieve by doing this? All right. So the abstraction is fine, right? What we use to make sure our system is following the abstraction, we use the methods, right, to hide it. Send mail. Why it's not? Why it's showing error? Okay, email error dot send email. Cool. So this is how we achieve the abstraction. What about the encapsulation now? So abstraction is hiding of the internal implementations or the complexities of a function or a program, right, in the computer language. And if someone asks you what is asset property, or not asset, what is this oops concepts, then in the abstraction you can put the single liner, right, implementation hiding. If someone asks you what exactly is the implementation hiding, can you elaborate more, then you can give the example of the TV or car or ATM machine, right? And then if someone asks you, okay, it's great, it's cool that you know about these things, but how exactly do we achieve it in our coding practices, right? Then then, because in Java or in any other languages, there is only one and two tools, right, that we can use for the business logic. So in Java it's only methods, so we will be using methods, right, to hide the implementations. Cool. And it's not like we have just this thing, right? If I have an array, right, array dot as list. Okay, so this thing cannot be modified. So if I have array list, if I have a list and list and integer list, right? If I have integer list and I want to name it at array, and if I add values over here, right, don't get confused, right? Okay, let me just name it list. What is happening over here? I'm just showing you that Java also provides a lot of functionalities that we don't know how it's doing right now, right, internally. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this would be 4, right? Okay, not size, add. Okay, and it's sorted, right? So let's change the values. Cool. And if I print the list, then I will get the values of list, right? So we don't need to send the mail for a while, and then okay, my bad. So if we run this, okay, end of file while parsing. Okay, cool. Need to add this. Then now if I run this, I will get the list, right? 1, 4, 3. So, but the thing is, I want to sort the list, right? Collections. Okay, and I will pass the list, right? And then I will print the list again. List, right? And if I run this again, I have sorted list, right? So Java has provided us one method, right, to sort the list, and which, okay, this is the list that we have created, 1, 4, 2, 3. After using collection.sort, it has been sorted, right? It's a sorted form. So which sorting is this using, right? There can be multiple sorting that they can do. It can use merge sort, right? Merge sort, it can use quick sort. These two sorts are the mostly used. Quick sort, right? There is deep sort, right? There are multiple sorting techniques, bubble sort, quick sort we have mentioned, right? So there are multiple sorting techniques, but we don't know, right, which technique Java is using internally. So this would be the part of abstraction, right? So they have hidden the internal complexities of sorting from us. Cool, understood? So if someone asks you, okay, can you provide some examples where the Java has given us and this abstraction? So you can use any method, right? Any method you can use inside the Java. The substring part and every method you can use. All right. So let's move from to the encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Okay, my bad. What is encapsulation? It's data hiding. Am I audible?
Yes, Akshay. You are
Okay.
audible.
So the one liner would be in for encapsulation, it would be data hiding, right? And why data hiding and how we achieve it, right? Okay, we can have a separate discussion of why the functional programming is on the rise, right now. And Java, with the Java 8 feature of a string in 2013, has introduced the functional programming paradigm in Java itself. So the thing which is very, I mean, innate to the functional programming is highest level of encapsulation. Cool. So we will see what is the encapsulation. Then we will be able to understand those things, right? What I have said. So the thing with the encapsulation is data hiding, right? So how are we hiding our data? How we hide our data? Any idea? We need to hide the data, right? And see, there are only 5 things that we can write in a class elements. We have already covered those things, right? Is there any way in which I can hide the data? All right. See, if I write something, what is the data, right? Data would be, which element would be the data in the class element? The variables will be data, right? Everything else, either they are initializing the data or working on the data, right? So the variable I need to hide, the variable is the data, so variable I need to hide, right? So if for the student object, if I have the roll number, as an integer, okay, my bad, as an integer, so I can access it directly. Okay, so now we are aware of constructor as well, right? So now what I'm going to use is student object runner. So I can use a student and let's say Dikshita and new student, right? And now what I can do, I can just pass the roll number as 10, right? And then I can do sysout and Dikshita, right? And to make sure that the Dikshita hash code is not printed, if I try to run it, what will happen? Class name at the rate hash code will happen, right? Because we have seen this is a method of an object call, right? Over here we have seen this, right? I'm audible?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what can I do to make sure that, okay, instead of object class, toString method, my toString method is called, right? So I can implement the toString, right? Now if I run this, then the Dikshita along with its number will be printed, right? Student roll number 10, right? Name I haven't set. Okay, so I can take the string name also. Cool. And then I can just remove these two, and then I can create the constructor, remove this one, and then toString and this. And now if I try to run this, now, all right, over here I need to send the name as well. So name will be Dikshita. If the spelling is wrong, please let me know. Now this is the name of the student and roll number, right? But this data, is this hidden from anywhere, right? Instead of doing this, can't I just take the Dikshita object and just dot and name? because instance variable can be accessed, right, directly. Not directly, using the object reference, right? So if I just print over here this student name, so it will be printed, right? The data is not hidden, right? I'm able to access it. So what can I do to hide this data, right? So there are access modifiers in the Java. So you must have seen in your code, mostly more than 99% of the variables would be private, right? You must have heard this during your code review sessions as well. Now it's private, so we'll see the next session would be of after loops. We will go to the access modifier only. So the private keyword don't hide the data from the outside of the class, right? So now I cannot access it. If I try to run it, I will get the error. The name has a private access of the student, so I cannot get this, right? So I have made sure that my data has been hidden, more hidden, right? But the thing is, it's still, I can hide this data from outside of the class, but I cannot hide the data from this area, right? I can write any number of objects, methods, and this data will be, name will be visible to that particular method, right? Am I right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So in public one also, if student name I try to print student name, it is visible over here, right? Name. And similarly, if I do m2, entire the same method and copy paste, and if I do the m2 and then student name, and let's just go to the runner, and then dikshita.m2 and the dikshita.m1, right? Both will print the name, right? So it is accessible, right? We have already seen its visibility area would be the closest curly braces and this, right? So these two methods falls inside the visibility of this particular method. So this thing, if we declare any static or instance variable, so this makes our language not complete encapsulated, right? We cannot completely hide the data. So how can, there should be some way, right, in which we can hide the data, and you must have listened or googled something that combining method with the data or encapsulating data with the methods is data hiding or it's encapsulation, right? If you google it, you will find this kind of terminologies as well. But the thing is, the terminology is right, but why it's the data hiding if I bind the data with the method, right? Binding of data with the method. So let's just remove this thing. So if instead of name, let's if I take something else, let for example int and age. Okay, age can be sensitive. Address, right? Int, okay, and it would be not be address. Okay, pin code, I can take the pin code, right? Pin code 101001. Cool. Sys out, then name plus address pin code, and then plus pin code, right? Now if I go to the runner and try to call the m1 method, I will get the Dikshita address pin code is 101001, right? But the thing over here, the thing that we need to see is this variable pin code. Can I access this pin code outside, anywhere else outside this area? Is it possible?
No.
Because its visibility area is just still here, right? These curly braces from line number 20 to 25, its visibility area is this only. And moreover,
Yeah.
as soon as the method ends, the local variable is deleted, right? Or the memory is released. So this is the highest form of encapsulation where you cannot access the data. Only the person who is using the data can access the data. Alright. The same goes with this also. It's instead of pin code provided over here, if I'll ask them to pass the pin code, right? So over here 101001, right? The output will be same, right? And if I take this value from the user, then there is no way that anyone can use this variable, right? Because this variable will exist as a local variable and it ends, right? Isn't it? No one other method can be able to access it. So this is the highest level of encapsulation and we add. So why do we add the private keyword? To enhance the level of encapsulation, right? And Java is not a language which supports full, I mean, it complete encapsulation it does not provide, right? Its encapsulation is broken. That's why there are variables, right, to make sure how we can access the variable and where we can access the variable. So this would be the encapsulation, right? What is encapsulation? Encapsulation is data hiding. All right, cool, great. So how we achieve the encapsulation? Again, we can bind the data. The definition that you will see online would be binding of data with the methods as encapsulation. But how it happens, right? Inside the method, the visibility of that particular variable or the data will be inside that method only. And as soon as the method ends, the stack is deleted. And every language, at least the backend, has the concept of a stack memory for the methods. Cool. They might call them functions and something else, but the concept will be remain same for memory management. So every time we bind the method with the data, then it becomes encapsulated, right? And then is Java supports the complete encapsulation? The answer is no. Java cause, and why it does not provide? Because of the instance variable and the static variables. So is there something else that we can do to enhance the encapsulation level? Yes, there are access modifiers. So the highest level of, or the most restricted access level is private, that we use so that no one can access this data or the variables outside the particular class. Cool. So that would be our encapsulation. Cool. Data hiding. Now we will go to the inheritance. Alright. So inheritance, okay, we have the time. Alright, just give me 1 minute. Let me just stop the recording.
Yeah. Yes.
Alright. So we have completed the encapsulation and abstraction, right? So we will move to inheritance. Cool. So in inheritance, we have how many types of inheritance do you know? My bad. And oops. Alright. Cool. So now we need to go to the inheritance, right? So what is inheritance? Alright, cool, no worries. So the process of acquiring properties, that would be the variables in Java, and behaviors, that would be the methods in Java, from one class to another is called inheritance, right? We can achieve the inheritance concept by using the extend keywords in Java, right? Inheritance is also known as is a relationship. We will see the difference between is and has a relationship in a while. And extend keywords provide the relationship between the two classes. And the main objective of the inheritance is the code extensibility. Whenever we are extending a class, automatically code is reused. Cool. I mean, I think that every one of you is aware of these things, right? Inheritance. All right, no worries. So in inheritance, one class provide the properties and another class is acquiring the properties, right? Inheritance, the parent class give the properties to the child and child will acquire the property. Cool. So we will see how it usually works and what's the benefit of it, right? In inheritance, okay, we will cover the inheritance and we'll end the session after that. So inheritance and then basics and then different type of inheritance is there, right? So we will cover the theoretical part only in the inheritance, we are not going to dive into the practical part, right? Because it's way too easy to understand. So if I have a class A, right, and A have a method void m1, cool, sys out a m1, right, and I have a method public void m2, right, and let's say that it creates a.m2. Cool. So runner, if I want to print a.m1, so what I have to do is I have to create an object of a class, right? A equals to null, right? And then I need to call a.m1, my bad, m1. Cool. So a dot m1, that what will happen, a1 will be printed, right? I can access the a1 method and I can also access the m2 method, right? m1 and m2 both method will be accessible to me. Cool. Let's suppose now I want to create a class b, and over here I want to, okay, not main, over here I want to create void m3, or let's say m1, and sys out, and I will write a dot m1 only. Cool. It's not the, I'm not trying to represent the class, I just want to represent the method, right? Let it can be add, it can be a functionality or the business logic in a firm. So m1, and just a copy paste m1 and 2, just copy paste m1 m2 in the b, and then we can write m3 and m4 over here. Alright, just m3 and m4. Cool. And now we can now what do I want? If I can create b equals to new p, right? Now I can have b dot m1, right? And then b dot m2, then b dot m3, and the b dot m4, right? If I'll run the code, let me just put this segregator. Alright, so if I run the code now again, the output, in the output you will see a dot m1 to m4, right? But the thing is, the same code, I mean earlier also m1 m2 is exactly same, right? Because I have just copy pasted it. So instead of writing code in two places, right, I'm writing code in b class as well and the a class as well, right? So these methods are already in the class a, right? So if I want to use this, I can directly get these properties. I can directly get this by declaring the class a my parent. And how can I make a class parent? By using the extends keyword, extends a. Cool. Now I can, even if I remove the methods m2 and m3, cool, I have removed it. Cool. Now there is no m1 and m2 in class b. Will the code give error? No. The reason is, from a, all the methods, these methods will be copy pasted over here by default. Cool. This is how the inheritance works. I don't need to write again and again these things. So if I run this, I will be able to access a1 m1, a m1 to m4, and m1 to m2, right? So what has we achieved by using the inheritance, right? Why not we are writing the code again and again? Okay, you get the, I mean everyone is clear with the inheritance right? I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone must be aware of this already. So but the reason now, the reason is, why do we use this? Why it's not why it's not, I mean, recommended to use that code again and again. Okay, I can just copy paste these two methods again over here, right? I can copy paste it over here, right? So why not to write this thing right in this way? Anyone?
What if there are multiple classes that are, where you need to copy paste? Then
Okay, this is your question, right?
no. That is the solution. Like if there are multiple B classes, classes similar to B, then you won't have to copy paste in every single class. You can just extend A.
uh, okay. So the reason is again the same. If I have c, so the question is again same, right? Then I can do this thing also, right, in this. So why not? Okay, one thing is, you're saying that if you want to use the functionality, then you need to copy paste again, right? But if you are developing something, you have to write already, right?
Uh, yeah, I meant if there are multiple classes, just like B, where you need those properties from A, then you won't have to copy paste. Is what I meant. You can just extend it.
Yes, I mean this is, I mean, we are reusing the code, right? That is good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, you are just saying, I mean, what's the benefit of that, right? You are not writing it again and again, right? So just control and C and control V. We are not doing the duplicacy, just to ignore control C and control V. Is this what you are trying to say? Hello, I'm
Uh,
audible.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
meant that you're
okay,
reusing it. That's it. Yeah.
okay. So control C and control V. This thing is the reason. So we need to ignore this. We wanted to ignore this thing. Is that's why we bring out the inheritance concept.
Yeah.
All right. Someone else. Someone else. Ashok, Vinod. I mean, you. I mean, for you also. I mean, it's related to your profile as well.
Okay. Um,
See. Okay. All right. Let me go through it. Right. Let's suppose I have this M1, M2, M3, M4, right? Differently, right? And this thing are in different. I mean, this is B is another functionality. Let's say it's repricing of a product, right? And this thing is booking. This is the booking, and this thing is repricing, right? And if I want to add something, right? If I want to make something, then I need to make sure, like for example, in the M1 method, I want to change the price. Okay, it would be better if I change from this. Okay, let's take something else. Let's take an example of pricing. Price. Okay, okay, no. Okay, we'll do it in the later part when we complete the hooks. But over here, you can see that if I want to make changes over here, right? Instead of curly braces, I want to, instead of this hyphen, I want to add two hyphens, right? What I'm doing, I'm adding one more hyphen, right? If this is the requirement, and if I do it over here and try to run it, then what will happen? The 2 has been changed over here but not over here, right? So I need to go to B and then make changes over here as well. So that means the code maintainability becomes hard, right? I need to change. If I have copy pasted this code to the 10 classes, then if I need to make change, then I have to update that in 10 classes, right? And the task would be find the places where I'm using the M1 method. Wherever the M1 method exists, go and try to find that particular method, and then append this one, add one more this negative or subtraction mark, right? Right now you can think that okay, it's way too easy. Right now we have the ID, right? So we can just search for M1, right? We can just search for M1, and these are the classes where we have used M1, right? But Java is not created with when we had this system, right? When the IntelliJ does not exist at that particular time. Nor our system was so much powerful that it can search and it can even update automatically, right? If we mention. So at that particular time, it was nearly impossible if we try to do this thing, replicate the code or duplicate the code maintainability was a very large headache, right? But instead of doing this, like for example, I have made changes twice, right? Once here and once here. So if I just remove this, right? Then I want to remove. Now I want to remove these two curly braces. Then I will just remove from one place, right? I will just move from one place and it will be working fine, right? So the code maintainability becomes easy. One thing is that we can, I mean, the number of methods in our class will be less, right? And there will be only single place. If I want to do anything, then the maintainability will become easier. The another benefit is that this M1 and M2, right? This M1 and M2. I mean, this if I am changing the price, right? So the price change. Let's suppose I'm changing the price and I'm changing the taxes that I'm going to charge. Like Swiggy keeps on changing the taxes, right? Sometimes it takes 18%, sometimes 9%, right? It keeps on changing the taxes according to the government GST slabs, right? So if the taxes part needs to be presented in the invoice as well, in the mail that we send, the thank you page or the thank you mail that we get, or the order confirmation mail that we get, over there also we need to be reflected, the price needs to be reflected, the updated text need to be updated, and also in the order page also the updated price need to be updated. And when we have ordered, right, in the order details also we need, and the order page we also need the same thing. So there will be three places, right? Mail, order details, and order page. There will be, or the cart, you can, order detail page, you can think of it as a cart page. So these three pages I need to test, right? But if all these three functionalities use the same method, right, and have updated the method, right, from 10% I have hard coded the value to the 9%, then the tester will ask the scope to the developer, right? What's the scope, which thing I need to test? then the developer can say you can, I mean, the impact area is the email confirmation, order confirmation email, or the cart and the order details page, right? But if the developer knows this thing, that okay, I'm using a single method for this, right, and I'm using the inheritance for this, so it can say that okay, the scope, I mean, the scope is these three, but you can only check one thing because we have been using the same place or the same method or the same property to get the invoice taxes, right? So the taxing, not tax, the testing scope also get reduced, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And not just the tester, I mean, we as a developer also do the unit test case testing, right? So our unit test cases also get reduced, right? And if we have to write something or test something, it also get reduced, right? So that's the benefit of inheritance. See, and one more thing that the people usually skips, right? It's not like we only get the methods, we get the properties as well. All right, int, and let's say its age equals to 20, right? And in the B, if I want to use, in B class there is no age, right? Public M3, okay, M3 is also there, right? So M5, right? And in M5 what I can do, I can say okay, a M5 with age plus age, right? If I run, okay, I need to call the M5 as well, right? So let me just call b dot, okay, not age, M5. If I run this code again, the age is 20, right? So there is no variable, right, in class B. So it's not like the method is extended only, right? Because I have taken a lot of interviews where people get confused, right? Okay, they don't think that the method is also coming, the variables is also coming, right? So that's not the case. We get all the behavior and properties. Cool. Understood?
Yes.
All right, great. So see, this is the code. If before inheritance I need to manage this m1 m2 method, right? Again that m1 m2 method, again the m1 m2 method, right? Three times their m1 m2 method. So the total method, if you'll see, the m1 m2 method is in class A, and m1 m2 m3 m4 method is in class B, and then from m1 to m6 in class C. The total methods that has been written is 6, 4 and 4. It will be 12, right? But and what's the difference, right? If I'm a tech lead, then I need to code review, right? I need to review your code, I need to review my teammates code, right? So I need to review the same thing again and again, right? There might be a chance I fail board, or there might be a chance, right, I won't be able to, every time if I'm going through the m1 method, I won't check it properly, right? The first thing would be in the code review. It's not a single thing, right? There are a lot of steps that happens. Maintainability becomes hard because I need to code review again 12 methods instead of 6. Over here, if you will see, only 6 method is there, right? Because I'm inheriting again and again. Class A is extending class B, and class B is extending class C. Sorry, class A extends class B, and class B extends class A, and A extends only the parent, right? So what is the benefit? One is duplicate code. And what's the issue with the duplicate code? The maintainability becomes hard. Again, the code review becomes hard, right? The testing becomes hard, right? And another thing, codes become lengthy increase, right? If there are only 2 methods in the class, then you will be able to get it properly, right? Okay, this class is doing only 2 things. Over here, if you come, you will need to go through and scroll a lot, right? To check, okay, 3 methods, body and method name we are going to read. So what we are doing, we are eliminating the duplication. Length of the code decrease, we are reusing the properties as well. Even if we need to use a variable, so the variable will be used in 3 to 4 classes, right? We don't need to create again the variables, right? So the memory is also being reused, right? Any doubt regarding this?
No, for now.
All right, cool. So one thing, right? One thing, most important question and most basic question as well in the inheritance, right? And that would be two things. See, we use extends keywords, right? Extends keyword. Extend keyword we can inherit. How we can inherit? Inheritance in Java. Inheritance in Java, right? So extend keywords we will use when both data types are same. Data types are same. Cool. That means if both are classes, right? we will use implements when it's different. Cool. And how can it be different? One would be interface, right? We will see the interface later on. So in interface, if I want to inherit, I will use implement. Or if I want to inherit class, right? Class, then if class is A, right, then I will use extends to B, right? If I do this, I'm sure that this class, if A is a class, then I know that B is also a class, right? Because the signature of the will be this, right? Public class A extends B, right? So I know that okay, the B will be a class because extends is used when the both data types are same, right? But if I find implements over here, right, and the code is compiled properly, so I know that the B is interface, right? And we annotate the interface with I to make it more clear. Cool. So again, now if I want to inherit the properties from the interface, I will use implement because it's a class and B is a interface, right? If both are classes, then what will happen? Public class A extends B, right? Because both are classes. Cool. But what will happen if one is both are interface? So interface A will extend interface B. Cool. Got it? When to use extends and okay, when to use implement, when to use extends. I mean, any confusion? Okay, it's silence for more than 10 seconds. I'm audible.
Yeah,
Audible now?
Abhishek, your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking little bit.
All right. For how long?
Just a second, sir. In between 2 3 seconds, it was breaking.
Okay,
Green
so
is also blur.
okay, all right. So let me reiterate this. Is it fine now?
Now it is fine.
Okay, cool. So in inheritance, when I want to inherit the properties of a class, I need to use extends keywords, right? This thing we have seen. And what do we inherit? We inherit the methods and variables, right? So if there is both, if the both data types are same, we need extends. What is meant by data types? One is a class and another is a class, right? Both are same, both are classes, right? Then what I will do, public interface. So I will use extends, right? If the both is classes, I will use extend. If both is interface, then I will use extend. But if they are different, one is class and one is interface, then I will use implements. Cool.
Okay.
All right, we will see the interface in the later sessions. All right, another thing, right here, this will be the notes and the points to remember. Okay, this is an interview question, right? And it's which class which class is the parent class of all Java objects? See over here, b b extends say, right? Like we have a father, right? We inherit the properties of father, right? If we call, I mean, if your father is having a property like for example the house, you will inherit that property from your father, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. So the father would be the one, or the parent would be the one from whom you are taking the properties, right? So over here, A would be the parent and B would be the class, right? Child class. So over here, which the question is, which class is the parent class of all Java objects? The answer would be, okay, where inheritance, okay, all right, okay, it's this note, okay, this. So the answer is object class. We have seen this in the yesterday as well. Object class. Alright, this will be the answer. This is very commonly asked question and it's not important nowadays because it's way too common. But this thing everyone needs to know. Because if you'll see any object, right, not in the encapsulation or inheritance only, if you see anything, right, this class don't have, this is a class, right, not extending anyone, right? Still, if I want to call the toString method, it is there, right? I can use it
Yes.
also. So from where this
Yeah.
toString method coming? It's coming from the object.java, right? Object class. I'm not extending it.
Okay.
Then to I'm able to use it. That means these properties I'm getting right for free. So if you don't extend any class, then by default compiler will let extends object. Okay. So if compiler has extended the object class and you are extending the B class, but Java will only add this thing when you are not extending anything, right? Like for the B class is extending A class, right? So now the object class will become the ancestor class, right? It would be the grandparent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the question is simple: which is class is the parent class of all Java object? So the answer would be the object class, and that's why all the methods of the object class we need to know, because these all methods are present inside our all the classes, right? These methods is present in our all the classes. So that's why we need to know it, because object class is the parent class of all Java objects. So these classes must be so basic that Java people thought, okay, these methods should be in the all the objects, right? So that's why it's there. So we are going to later sessions, we are going to cover that as well. One by one, toString we have already covered, right? So in the later parts, we will see the more concepts, more methods of it. See, now we are already aware of it, of this thing, right? What is inheritance? So let's check the different types of inheritance. It's not important, but we need to know it, right? See, there are 5 types of inheritance. I mean, there are more than 5, but we are going to cover only 5. Single inheritance, one class B extend a single class B, right? This is called single inheritance. Then multi-level inheritance, right? That we have done. Class C will extend B and B will extend A, right? This will be multiple inheritance. And in Java, what happens in this also, by default Java is adding object class, right? A class will be extending object class, right? So in Java you will find everything to be multi-level inheritance, right? If you use extends keyword, then it will be multi-level inheritance, because by default one inheritance, single inheritance is present for every object, right? Am I clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So multi-level means more than, I mean, in sequential manner we are extending the classes, right? Then comes the hierarchical. Hierarchical means a single class is extended by multiple classes, and this is the most commonly used in our daily life scenario. Why? Because for example, there is a payment, right? We need to make sure implement the payments, right? So there will be a payment class, cool. And then the child classes will be credit card payment, debit card payment, net banking, UPI payment, right? So there can be n number of child classes. And the payment class will be the parent class, and the payment class will have all the required methods or the properties that we require for making a payment in our system, cool. So this is the hierarchical payment, where a single parent can have multiple childs, right? This is what is happening, right? A single parent having multiple child is called hierarchical inheritance. No one is going to ask you this question, it's just for the sake of knowledge, right? Then comes multiple inheritance, right? This is important. Multiple inheritance, like you have a single class, right? And a single class having, or a single child having multiple parents, this thing, right? Now what's the thing with this? Multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java. So this, again, this is important question, right? Object question usually people don't ask in today's age, but this is the most important one. All right. So question would be, is multiple inheritance allowed in Java? The answer would be no. Cool. The answer would be no. Java don't allow multiple inheritance. We'll come here why it not allowed, right? Then there is a hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance is a combination of hierarchical inheritance and multiple inheritance. But again, the question is hybrid inheritance allowed in Java? The answer is again no, because multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java. So a combination of hierarchical plus multiple will not be supported in Java, right? As simple as that. Cool. Hierarchical is nothing. You can check the hierarchical. This is the hierarchical, right? And this is the multiple, right? Combine these two diagram and you will get this. Hackle says multiple child one parent, multiple child x having one
Abhishek,
parent.
Abhishek,
Yeah.
why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java?
All right, cool. The reason is if you have multiple, if your class is having multiple, if you're trying to extend it, if let's example, let's take the class C, right? If I allow extends B, right, it is allowed, right, single inheritance. Now it would be a part of multi-level inheritance because B is extending A, right? Now let's
Okay.
take an example of class K, right? Now in class K also, okay, this is a class K. If I allow class K and inside the class K, public void m1, I am writing public void m1 in class K also, right? And I will mention it as k dot m1. Cool. And instead of extending C to B, let's extend C to A, right? Now A will be having, now A will be having m1 and m2 methods, right? Because I have extended.
Yes.
Java don't allow, but if I allow B, oh sorry, K, if I allow the K to be inherited as well, right? Now and if, I mean it will give an error, right? Cannot extend multiple classes, cool, because it's not allowed in Java. But I'm just taking an example that if it was allowed, then if if I try to call the method, okay, if I try to create an object of C, C equals to new C, C equals to new C, right? And dot C dot M1, right? Because M1 method is in the C, right? Why? It is in the both parents, right? So which one M1 method I call? Which M1 method it will call? It will call the M1
Okay.
method of A, or it will call the M1 method of C. Oh, sorry, K. Which one to
Okay.
prioritize? Right? And if there are multiple classes, then it can be in other classes as well, right?
Okay.
It don't provide. And now another thing with the inheritance, in the interfaces, in interfaces, the multiple inheritance is allowed. And we will see in the
Okay.
later part why it's allowed and why it's not allowed. We will see in the multiple inheritance, why how it has been handled for the interfaces. We are going to cover that in interfaces section, right? But for
Okay.
classes, it's not allowed. Cool. But other languages allow this, right? C++
Okay.
allow this, and the Python allow this. So you can have the multiple inheritance there. Whichever language don't have interfaces, it allows multiple inheritance. As simple as that. Because
Okay.
interfaces are provided because we are left with the benefits of multiple inheritance. So
Okay.
they need to provide something so that we can have the benefits of multiple inheritance. That's why the interfaces has been introduced. So if you find
Okay.
the PHP, in PHP, multiple inheritance is not allowed. So you will find the interfaces. And you can apply in any language, right? If you find interfaces in a language, that language will not support the multiple inheritance. Because they wanted some other data structure or data type to handle or to allow the multiple inheritance. That's why a new data type in a interface has been created. Cool. So one of the drawbacks
Okay.
of Java is someone asks you, then null pointer exceptions, interfaces, these kind of things is there, right? Not fully encapsulated, then it can be a drawback or not drawback depending on from which angle you come, right? So again, I mean you have to first know these things, then we can discuss the later parts, right? Okay. So understood, right? Let me delete this. K
Yes.
and then this thing, right? All right. So this was the inheritance, right? So why inheritance, and inheritance is called is the relationship, right? One more thing I'll discover. Then because I'm not giving an example, just we will come just come here and see. If public class A, right? If it's okay, public class dog animal, right? Animal. Cool. This is one class, and the another class is public class dog, right? Extends animal, right? So what will happen? We can say a dog is an animal, right? A dog is an animal, right? Because it extends the animal or the
Yeah.
right? So that's how it's come that is the relationship, right? So dog is an animal, right? And we have used instead of a because a, e, I, o, u, right? Vowels. Otherwise, if it was a car, then it has been dog. A dog is a car, right? So that's how this is a relationship come, right? So it is represented as is hyphen a. There is a gap between is and a, right? A space. So it is represented as a is relationship. So we call that, okay, a dog and animal, create two classes and establish a is relationship. They are not going to tell you that, okay, create one class dog, create one class animal, and then do with dog with extends the animal, right? In the terminology of computer science, we'll call it is a relationship, right? So it's called is a relationship. All right. So next is a has a relationship. Cool. So the another example would be for the has a relationship. There is a public void car, right? And there is another class public void engine. Cool. In engine. Cool. So now a car needs to have a engine, right? The car needs to have an engine, right, to run. Without engine there will be no car. So now car has an engine, right? So has a relationship means this car has an engine, right? I'm audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So has a relationship means if someone says that, okay, create two classes and create a has a relationship between them, right? In a car and an engine. So that means you need to create a variable, right, inside one class of another. Because of will car has a engine. And if you someone says that you have to create a is a relationship, then you need to use the extend keywords and implement the inheritance. Cool. So that's the difference between